The gaming industry will never be the same, and it hasn't been the same for the past 6 to 12 months, with AI leading the way of having almost zero to no ability to make your own PC and rising component prices, to what happened over the weekend with Xbox going around and basically just retiring Phil Spencer, going around and canning Sarah Bond, and Asha Sharma being the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming, even though her previous role dealt specifically with only AI and Microsoft and some other places as well. The thing is, this move has really rattled a lot of people, and myself included. The one thing I don't want to see is another player in the space evaporate and no longer be available. No matter what PlayStation fanboy tries to tell you, yes, they do need Xbox, because if it wasn't for that, they'd have nothing to talk about, because clearly they don't play any games. But still, things are in fact going to get incredibly weird, and we're seeing already again the Xbox dead narrative spinning around, and on top of that, we're seeing what could effectively be an actual hit piece by gaming journalists or Microsoft themselves throwing Sarah Bond and other CEOs under the bus as actual scapegoats because of the past few years of performance. Yeah, it's gonna get weird. Real weird. And the thing is, there's a reason why I bring up AI in the first place, simply because it turns out that Asha Sharma was working on the core AI team for Microsoft. And even then, over the past weekend, there has been some, let's say, strange conversations they've been having on Twitter. It's gotten so bad that people are thinking her own responses to Twitter replies are also AI as well. Because according to WCCF Tech, new Xbox CEO gets targeted for supposedly using an AI bot on X and creating her gamer tag last month. You see, this is why I bring this up. Asha Sharma was definitely one of the people saying they don't want to include a bunch of AI slop in their games or even for gamers themselves. And the thing is, we're going to be seeing a lot more AI slop, whether you want to believe those words or not. Even though Satya Nadella a few months back was telling people to say, hey guys, stop calling it slop. We need to find some way of proving why we're dumping all this money into this program in the first place to be beneficial for you, even though it's not beneficial at all. It's going to be incredibly difficult for someone like Asha Sharma to even prove to everybody that AI slop is not being used inside of a lot of the games being made by Microsoft. And the problem is, making that kind of statement is only going to do one thing. It's going to embolden other people to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and then point out the fact that AI was used, negating every single argument that they're trying to do and all the goodwill they're trying to build. This leads directly into the next piece of what's going on. It turns out Xbox founders may in fact be incredibly worried about what Asha Sharma is going to be doing, and this could be, by their opinion, the death of Xbox. For real this time. Not a Dreamcast guy video. Because according to Games Radar, Xbox will be, quote, sunsetted under new CEO. Original co-founder expects her job is going to be a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. And look, we've seen this entire thing happen before, right? Every time you go on Twitter, what do you see? Xbox dead, fanboy beta, PS5 bet. Like, it's the same garbage over and over again that we've heard for the past 25 plus years. The difference now, though, is it's not just some idiotic fanboy on Twitter saying this. No, it's an actual original co-founder of Xbox themselves, Seamus Blackley, who had an interview with GamesBeat, and here's what happened. The Games Radar article says this: speaking with GamesBeat, Blackley sized up the future of Xbox following seismic leadership changes that included the retirement of longtime gaming boss Phil Spencer, the departure of president and presumed Spencer replacement Sarah Bond, and the appointment of Sharma, despite her inexperience with games and short Microsoft tenure. With Seamus saying, quote, Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core AI business, is being sunsetted, he said. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Blackley also continued by saying this: Microsoft is a company that is now about enabling its customers by enabling AI to drive things, Blackley reiterated. That's at odds with the auteur model of any art, but specifically of games. One concern with AI taking over Xbox, Blackley noted, is that AI is still unproven as a technology and business, whereas games are established and profitable. One might find it strange then to see seemingly every executive, even adjacent to tech, suddenly stricken with the exact same AI brainworm. And if you've been watching this channel for the past few months, we've been talking about the AI brainworms that have been infecting basically every single CEO, especially the ones being pulled out by Jensen's grubby little fingers, being infecting every single person and every single CEO, dumping billions of dollars into Nvidia and even AI itself. And to add insult to injury, Satya being one of the core members of trying to push AI into every single aspect of Microsoft and even Windows, having it get so bad that 30% of the code is written by AI, even though they have to put out emergency updates every single week by what it seems to make the OS even operable in the goddamn first place, while everybody else is trying to basically just jump ship and move to Linux as well, putting the playbook right into Steam's hands, which is exactly what they in fact want. And the big rumor going around now is that Asha is now in fact just a yes man for Nadella as well. Because even though a broken clock is right twice a day, here's an article from Kotaku, with the article saying this: new Xbox boss is worried about birth rates, says AI will save us. Look, I don't know about you, but unless AI can literally just manifest itself as a 7-foot-tall Futanari Dami Mommy, I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about birth rates and AI unless I got one of those sitting in my office right now. But here's the thing though, now that you know the entire backstory of what happened over the past couple of days and what's been going on with the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming, it turns out that some things may in fact not be going the way they planned. And even then, maybe some revisionist history is in fact happening. An article by Tom Warren, or dare I even say people online are calling it a hit piece by Tom Warren, may in fact shed some extra light. And even then, could be confusing as well. Because according to Tom Warren saying this, inside Microsoft's big Xbox leadership shakeup, Microsoft has a new gaming CEO who wants to bring Xbox back from the brink. I've been speaking to Xbox employees about how it all went down, with the article from Tom Warren saying this: some Xbox employees I've been speaking with saw the writing on the wall for Bond last year. She was promoted to Xbox president in October of 2023, just days after Microsoft finalized its $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard. Bond had been crucial in getting the deal over the line with regulators and slowly started to become the face of Xbox as Spencer took on the complicated duties of integrating a huge new business into Microsoft Gaming. What happens later on after Bond becomes part of Xbox is you have two specific people leave under her directly. Kareem Choudhury, who was part of the backwards compatibility team, and in case if you don't remember, Sarah Bond was also in charge of that team as well, talking about backwards compatibility and even forwards compatibility in the future, leading that team specifically. On top of that, Jarrett West also left too, which is honestly strange because he's also the chief marketing officer for Xbox, which means all the backwards compatibility and also all the marketing fell directly under Sarah Bond. And I think this is where Microsoft is going to be taking and throwing her under the bus, because Tom Warren's article then says this: this was all part of the Xbox Everywhere strategy that Bond had been pursuing, a vision to move the Xbox brand beyond its roots in console hardware. Months later, this is an Xbox campaign launched, with commercials that positioned the phone or tablet as an Xbox instead of just a console. It was a confusing campaign, and I'm told it offended many Xbox employees internally. The pivot away from console, led by Bond under Spencer's direction, hasn't gone well for Xbox. Microsoft's Xbox hardware revenue has declined for 3 financial years in a row, and it looks like those declining revenues are going to continue throughout fiscal 2026. And you're probably sitting there scratching your head and thinking to yourself, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. And thus begins the gaslighting and throwing people under the bus. You see, Sarah Bond was not responsible for Xbox Anywhere or Everywhere, whatever way you want to call it. What Sarah Bond was responsible for, more than likely, was the marketing for This Is an Xbox, which clearly I personally thought was incredibly smart. And that's just coming from someone who's a PC gamer. I was never going to buy an Xbox, but the opportunity to play all those games without needing one was honestly really good for me. The problem with that marketing campaign was not the fact that This Is an Xbox existed. It was the fact that it was set as a replacement for what so many console gamers already had in their lives, the actual box. It should have been promoted as an additive or an extra way to play your Xbox games instead of as an actual replacement. But the problem is, that's not what we're talking about right now. The problem is how Tom Warren's article is getting facts incorrect. Hell, Tom Warren wrote this. In fact, here is July 4th of 2016 with Tom Warren on his own website writing this: Xbox Play Anywhere launches on September 13th. And here's The Guardian back in 2018 with E3, Microsoft's gaming chiefs on the future of Xbox. The company is investing in studios in an attempt to win over the next generation of gamers. With Phil Spencer's own quote saying this: we pivoted about 3 or 4 years ago, thinking about the gamer first, not the device first, says Spencer. I still see remnants of that. What can you do to force somebody to buy a device? And then once you bought it, own the store and the services. But this limits people on the creative side because you have to build games for specific devices. And here's also, again, Tom Warren on February 16th of 2024 saying this: Phil Spencer's Microsoft memo on Xbox Everywhere. Microsoft is preparing for a future where every screen is an Xbox. And if I really want to get nasty with it, here is on Microsoft's own blog back in September of 2016, where ReCore is arriving on Xbox One and Windows 10 as the first Xbox Play Anywhere game. And this is where things get really weird for me. Tom Warren literally wrote the articles previously stating about what Xbox was doing years ago. Yet for some reason now, he's also writing that Sarah Bond led the entire Play Anywhere movement for Xbox, when in reality, that wasn't the case. It was literally done by Phil Spencer and possibly even Satya Nadella as well. And here's the crazier part about this too. We can't sit here and blame the entire This Is an Xbox campaign simply on Sarah Bond, because the actual marketing CFO left, or the leader of the Back Compat team left too, putting everything on Sarah Bond's shoulders. The problem that I have with trying to put all that blame onto Sarah Bond, saying she was the one responsible for this and she was the one leading the charge, is because it's corporate America, baby. There's no way that one person is going to make any decision whatsoever without running it up the chain, back down again, having 2 Zoom calls, having 2 more Teams meetings, and then another set of emails behind it before they even launch a campaign in the first place. Every single thing that happens inside of any corporate juncture is all them redoing, rethinking, retalking, and then rebuilding what they're going to want to do in the first place, and then launch the entire thing, even though it's never gone good for them at all. Look at the Game Pass price hike. Oof. They all agreed on that. They wanted that. They pushed it through. They approved it. Everybody went through it. Nadella said yes. Phil Spencer said yes. Amy Hood said yes. Sarah Bond said yes. So placing the blame on simply one corporate entity or one corporate person is not how things should in fact be going. Everybody deserves the blame for what Xbox was in fact doing. And the miscommunication, the lack of marketing, the entire inability for them to even have one cognitive thought or brain cell to rub together to actually be in line of what they want to do really goes to show that this entire thing is fucked 6 ways from Sunday. The article even goes on by saying this: most of the current and former Xbox employees I've spoken to in recent days are relieved that Bond is leaving Microsoft. I've heard from multiple sources that Bond has been tough to work with and built a team structure that meant if you didn't follow the vision or questioned it, you were out. Most have praised her ability to strike partnerships with companies and developers though. And the whole Sarah Bond being tough to work with, I can absolutely see. I distinctly remember some sort of really weird statement that was being made that both Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond had to do almost couples therapy to try and figure out how to communicate better with each other, simply because both of them had very different strategies and ideas of what they wanted Xbox to be, or how to even approach people in Xbox as well, or even communicate in the first place. It was really stuck out to me the entire time. But the problem is trying to put the entire blame onto Sarah Bond when people like Satya Nadella have been trying to force AI, people like Phil Spencer have been doing the entire Xbox Anywhere plan since 2016, and then putting everything onto Bond as well doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially with Tom Warren's article also coming around and saying that this is in fact what actually happened, even though his own articles from years ago completely negate the entire thing as well. So it's difficult to find out what in fact is actually true and what's been in fact going on with Xbox in the first place. In fact, here's Carrie Galam on Twitter saying this: where do they go from this point? What changes? What we know about Xbox Magnus at the moment is actually the smartest move Xbox can do right now. If Xbox Magnus just becomes an Xbox console, quote, only, there is no point to it. Being a mega powerful Xbox PC is the most alluring direction. And I think Corey's absolutely right. I think the Magnus, even though there's rumors of it being over $1,000, being a PC console hybrid is going to be the most alluring direction, not only for actual users who want that kind of experience in their Xbox consoles. Well, console, if you want to call it that, it's basically just going to be a PC. Hell, all consoles right now are just form factor PCs anyways. That's literally what they are. But logically, that kind of system, that kind of hardware would absolutely help push Satya Nadella's plans of implementing AI usage into every possible aspect. They're doing it to GitHub. They'll do it to your consoles as well. And I made the joke about this during the last video saying AI, 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 like they did with TV for the Xbox One. And that's exactly what I think they're going to be planning as well. I don't see Asha Sharma going around and bringing exclusivity back. I think that genie is absolutely out of the bottle. Same thing with PlayStation, when all the rumors are going around that they were going to stop PC ports, even though we just got another one with Death Stranding 2. And the thing is, they're just running out of games to port over to PC because clearly they're not making any fucking games either. But the problem is everything that Tom Warren wrote, all the inconsistencies, the inaccuracies, and even his own past articles negating what he's writing right now really goes to show that what in fact is even happening at Xbox, nobody in fact knows. Here's the Ghost of Hope on Twitter saying this: I'm not saying Phil or Bond were perfect, but this is a certified hit piece on a Monday morning to change the narratives from over the weekend. I think people are going to see that Phil and likely even Bond were stopping a lot more layoffs and AI integration from happening with Xbox. And here's Mischief on Twitter also saying this: The Verge's Tom Warren has released a very bizarre article against Sarah Bond, which seems to just slander her. It claims she was responsible for the multi-platform push, despite this self-evidently not being true, as it predates her becoming head of Xbox in 2023 by around 7 years. And I think people like the Ghost of Hope and Mischief are actually correct. We are probably going to be seeing far more layoffs and a lot of trimming the fat on Xbox specifically. We are probably going to be getting that Xbox PC hybrid, but it's going to be shoved to the gills with AI, and Asha is going to be the one to do it under Nadella's lead. That's exactly what I think is going to be happening. I think the big reason why Phil got pushed out is because both Phil and Bond were against all this AI integration into what they want to do with Xbox. And this could also be exactly why Xbox co-founders are saying, hey, they're going to sunset the entire thing. And I don't mean by just closing down Xbox directly. No, I mean by completely integrating Microsoft into Xbox as a whole, making everything the PC route and trying to compete with Steam with an OS model as well, like I've been talking about for the past few months. This isn't all done out of randomness. This is all calculated and corporate, and that's exactly what corporations do. They mull over all the details and know exactly the kind of game they're willing to play. But the core idea of what they could come up with the actual Magnus could be a good plan, especially if backcompat works the way it's supposed to. And the thing is, I'm not going to hold my breath and want exclusivity back, because personally, I think exclusivity is bad for you and me as an actual customer and consumer. It only benefits the brand and the box and does nothing for you in the first place. I know, super hot take, but it is what it is. With all that being said, though, I am on the wait and see approach. I want to see what Asha Sharna actually does with Xbox. I want to see how far Nadella has his fingers injected into this brand. And I want to see what's going to be happening later on in the future, because clearly things are up in the air. And even right now, we're watching game journos try to gaslight you about it. And that, to me, is the real terrifying part about all of this. But as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. And speaking about the comment section, here in fact is the comment of the day from Saturday's video. With Adrian Veidt saying this: "The rise of Arasaka, baby. Wake the fuck up, samurai. We got data centers to burn." Oh yes, my friend, it's going to get even crazier, especially with the way AI is being pushed into basically everything we have right now. And clearly people are going to get very upset sooner or later, but we'll see how that goes. But hey, if you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 109K. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by about 800 people with AI TTS. It's insane. Trust me. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!